What is your 2026 first round, second round, third round, fourth round, 18th? I'm just kidding. What is your rookie draft pick actually going to be worth in terms of value? And should you hold on to that selection or sayonara sucker? We're going to be trading for somebody that actually can produce, provide value, and even provide more upside than what you would get with using that selection in your rookie drafts come April and come May. So here we go. We're going to get right into things, man. We're on Flock Fantasy. Appreciate every single one of them letting us use this tool to show you guys. Free website, go check it out, and their rankings. But we actually have draft picks ranked in here as well. So I'm going to go through and give you guys specific trade examples and hypotheticals for whether or not I would move on from these players. And we're going to talk about, what is the current projected collegiate player, obviously declaring for the draft now, that's going to be taken at these selections so we can compare apples to apples. The 101, it sounds fine and dandy and all, but what is that actual player's name, right? A lot of times in Dynasty, people get caught up in the fact that, ooh, the 107. I'm in the first round, baby. I'm in the game. I got skin. The 107 is a scrub. Jadarian Price. Brother, you don't want to trade. Somebody insane. You don't want to trade. Let's go look at the 107 just real quick. We'll get back. We'll start back at the 101. You don't want to trade Harold Fannin, Chase Brown, or Jadarian Price if he was the 107. I'm not saying he is. Let's get into the video, man. Let's start with the 101. Let's get back on track. First off, smash the like and subscribe. And appreciate every single one of y'all watching the videos. Really helps us out a ton if you subscribe and like the vid. The 101 is going to be Jeremiah Love. It's not even going to be close. Now, Jeremiah Love, 6 foot, 250 pounds. He's young. I like that a lot for dynasties. 20 and a half years old. Will be 21 at the start of the season. Production-wise, back-to-back great years above 1,000 rushing yards. Very efficient on the ground. Touchdown rate, very good in college, but who cares about that? I care about receiving. Receiving-wise, averaged about 250 receiving yards in back-to-back seasons there at Notre Dame. Prospect and athletically, he compares very, very well. He compares actually as the better prospect than Ashton Genty. So if you have Ashton Genty and you can trade Genty for the 101, it is a worthwhile thing to be doing, but I don't foresee you being able to do that. If you have Devon Achane, and you can trade Achane for the 101. I like that as a reroll. If you can trade Neighbors for the 101, I do think this 101 is actually pretty fairly ranked, but the players around the 101 might not be ranked as well. Because if you can move on from Neighbors for the 101, this is truly just a positional reroll because I am still confident in Neighbors, except for his injury history. Neighbors obviously has had a nagging toe injury since college and then the terrible torn ACL. So Neighbors has some brutal injury concerns, whereas Jeremiah Love's coming out. He's fresh. And his athletically, man, he compares his elite ceiling compares actually to a guy like Bijan Robinson. So some people might ask, should I trade Bijan for Jeremiah Love? The answer is no. And really the reason the answer is no for all of these guys above him is really just the fact that it's proven. We don't want to swing and miss. And all signs point to this being a lock, but you learn very quick that lock is a loose term, bro. You can take a sledgehammer roll lock, and what is it now? It's a piece of junk. So you want to be careful trading producing assets immediately. But Joe Burrow is the first guy that sayonara, buddy. Now in a Superflex league, trading Joe Burrow for the 101, you might think to yourself, listen, I need a quarterback. Well, I have a solution. There's quarterbacks you can get to replace him. Dynasty is about value. It's not about having a quarterback on your team. You can go get a quarterback elsewhere with a different pick. Let's talk about Burrow for the 101. Joe Burrow should not be ranked top 15. Joe Burrow should probably be ranked 35th overall in these rankings. So trading Burrow for the 101 is probably the best thing that you can do in terms of value for your Dynasty team. Joe Burrow, 1, cannot stay healthy. 2, has absolutely no rushing upside. I love moving Joe Burrow for the 101 this year, and this is a deal you can probably get done pretty easily. Now, you're going to have to recuperate at the quarterback position like we talked about, and I'll just give you the best targets to do that, right? You move on from Burrow, you go get the 101, it's worth it. You now have a cornerstone asset, Jeremiah Love. You're taking Jeremiah Love. Who do you get at quarterback? Go get Jackson Dart. Go mortgage the future. Jackson Dart will eventually be a top 15 overall in the rankings. This guy has a very high ceiling. 1 rushing touchdown per game. I think his ceiling is 26 points per game, and I'm not even lying. If you look at his passing stats, absolutely terrible, which is a good thing when you consider his rushing stats and his points per game. If he improves as a passer and maintains his rushing stats, which we've recently seen happen with Drake May, then Dart can skyrocket in value. Love getting Jackson Dart. How about a little bit cheaper? I like getting Bo Nix. It's not really shiny. It's not flashy. But Bo Nix will give you 19 points per game on average. You know what you're getting. He's only 25 years old. And then the last name that I am begging you to get, this is what I just did, right? I traded a 210, a 211, a 311. To me, absolute trash. You're looking at, you know, not necessarily the cream of the crop. If I tell you who's coming, the 210. The 210, currently I have projected that to be Jacoby Lane, wide receiver USC. No thanks. The 211, I have Katron Allen, Penn State. No, honestly, I don't care. And then the 311, 312, honestly, nobody. It's a nobody, right? There's obviously going to be guys that hit in those rounds, but it's a weaker class overall, especially after the 107 pick this season. So I traded nothing, plus Alvin Kamara, who I also think is nothing, for Tyler Shuck. And that was a deal that I am so happy I got done. Shuck will return great value. So getting back into who else do you trade for the 101? Is there anybody else that I'd be looking to move on from? Devon Achane. I'd rather have the 101 than Devon Achane. Achane's injury history scares me, and he's in, you know, purgatory 2.0. 1.0 is obviously the Jets, but the Dolphins without Mike McDaniels, that scares me. Without a quarterback, that now scares me. So the Achane situation, I'm looking to move on from. I'm actually holding on to Caleb Williams. And anybody else down here, like, yeah, I think if you can trade anyone else down here for this 101, I wouldn't trade Dart. Jackson Dart's on my no trade list. But if you can trade any of the bums down below for the 101, it is a solid deal. 101, I'm not looking to aggressively move it. If you hold on to that first selection, you know, I'm looking for a haul. I'm looking for a Bijan, a Chase, a JSN, one of the Superflex QBs. You know, Gibbs is like tempting, but honestly, like I'm fine. I'm content. I'm not actively selling. The 102. Okay, so somebody I really like a lot is Jackson Dart. Welcome home, buddy. If you can trade any pick after the 101 for Jackson Dart, just 1-to-1, yes, it is the best thing you will do. We already talked about it, but you can now see the stats. His rushing yards per game was like 50 rushing yards per game. He had a rushing touchdown, at least one, for 5 games straight. Insanely high ceiling. No Malik Neighbors. Now he's back. Scam Scatterville will be back. Yeah, the future is bright there for the Giants. They obviously now have Harbaugh. I like trading that pick. But who is the 102 again? The first thing you got to do to you got to set the scene. 102. It's a number. Could care less. Who's it actually going to be? Projects out to be Jordan Tyson. He's 6'1", 195. He comps to JSN, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, you know, Devontae Smith, Khalil Shakir. The problem is, for me, he's inconsistent in contested catch situations. He's a good short to intermediate route runner, which is fine. Good straight line speed and acceleration, okay. But the major issue, he misses so much time, bro. Like, this guy does not play. He's injured. He's always injured. If you're always injured in college, what happens when you start facing Vontaze Perfect and wham, bam, you got scammed. You're now out for the year. Like, Jordan Tyson scares me. So if you have the 102, I actually don't mind moving on from that. Let's just break down who the 103 and 104 are as well, because they're close in value for me, and you can see that here in the rankings. The 103 projects out to be Carnell Tate, and I do like Carnell Tate. I think Carnell Tate could be a ceiling up there with George Pickens and how Pickens now looks with the Cowboys. Obviously landing spot dependent, but he's a big, solid receiver, 6'3", 195, good downfield speed. He's decent in everything, doesn't really excel at much besides body control, but he produced in college 9 touchdowns this year, 800 plus receiving yards with Jeremiah Smith there at Ohio State. So it's a solid receiver option, not the best receiver prospect of all time, but he's solid. And then the next guy is Mekhi Lemon, who everybody's hyping up. Mekhi Lemon, I'm scared. They're comping him to Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's a slot runner. Okay, that's fine. He's 5'11", 190, undersized, and slow. Like that's not you don't want to hear that. Oh, I'm excited, but he did just have 1,200 receiving yards, 11 TDs, so the production was there in college. It's just a little bit scary for me. Let's see what 40 time he runs at the combine. But those are the 3 next picks. 3 receivers. They all have different pros, different cons. So you're really playing Russian roulette here with the 102, 103, 104. Tyson has the best upside. Carnell Tate has the best floor. And then Mekhi Lemon is a big unknown question mark. You can see these picks are all pretty close in value. So, you know, the dilemma here is like, I actually have the 103. I traded for it from a rebuilder in my league. I don't like, it's kind of like let fate decide. Like if you have the 102, do you want to trade back just for picks? Like if you have the 102, honestly, I'm fine trading back straight up to recuperate some value in other assets and just having the 103 or 104. Because to me, let fate decide. Like I don't know who's going to be better of those three receivers. Now, at 104, I'm hesitant because I'm least hype on Lemon, but a lot of people really do like Lemon, and Lemon is the only guy that eclipsed 1,000 receiving yards. I think Tyson actually did. Let me check Tyson again. Yeah, Tyson had 1,100 in 2024, so that's not totally accurate. And Tyson definitely has the highest upside of the bunch, but health concerns really, throws down in the gutter for me personally. Who would I be looking to trade for? I'd be looking to get a guy like Jackson Dart. If you have the 102, who would I be willing to trade Jordan Tyson for? I'd be willing to trade Jordan Tyson for George Pickens and something. So I still want something. I want to try capitalizing on the hype. If somebody wants to get in the game of the rookie draft, I'm all for it, man, but you're going to have to pay a little premium because Jordan Tyson, it's going to be a flashy name. He's going to get early draft capital in real life, which will improve his stock. I like getting Bowers. Like, again, you might not be able to get this done, but if you can get the 102, send that for Hampton. Send that for Bowers. Send it for McBride. That's fine. Jefferson, honestly, I'm a little skeptical of, but it probably is still a good trade in the grand scheme of things. And look at the 103. Don't go after Wilson. I don't like Loveland at this price. I don't like Lawrence. I don't like Nico at this price. Don't like Purdy at this price. Don't like Olave at this price. And then when you think about James Cook, this is really just positional. Would you rather have a receiver on your team or a running back on your team? Because James Cook will produce for the next 3 seasons, and he will produce in a good way at the right position. So if you need a running back more than a receiver, I'm fine pivoting from the 103 or 104 to go get James Cook. I'm also fine if you need a quarterback going to get Bo Nix. Because Bo Nix, I mean, listen, this is a quarterback, a franchise quarterback, again, averaging 19 points per game, and he will do that consistently over the next several years. Now, Cortland Sutton eventually will be departing. Who can they replace him with? But it's Sean Payton. It's a good system, and Bo Nix will be just A-okay. So you're pretty much in a weak quarterback class this year, a very weak quarterback class, where you could argue there might be somebody that's dumb enough that's going to take Mendoza at the 103 or 104. So would I rather have Mendoza, who's going to Purgatory 3.0, the Raiders, or Bo Nix, who has rushing upside, and Mendoza does not really have that, and Bo Nix is averaging 19 points per game. I'd rather have Bo Nix, who's not even close. So that's a move I don't mind making. Let's look at the 105 now. The 105 is the first value decline for me. However, in your league, if Mendoza goes top 4, then the 105 is going to be one of those 3 receivers, and I actually do like the 105. So if you think one of your league mate scrubs with a top 4 pick will be taking Mendoza, I'd be looking to buy the 105 at a discount. That's big brain math right there, right? So you're going to have to feel it out, put some feelers out. But would I rather have the 105? Let's just say that people are smart and Mendoza projects out as the 105. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'd rather have a lot of these guys above than the 105. I'd rather have Travion. Lad McConkey's a true toss-up here. Buka, I think I'd rather have him. I'd rather have almost all the options above, even the guys I was calling scrubs. But it really, you're starting to get into like, if you don't take Mendoza with your 105, you're taking Denzel Boston or Jonah Coleman in my eyes. Those guys are very risky as well. So I'm starting to get into the territory where I'm looking to move this pick. If you have the 105 or later, let's shop this bad boy around. Let me get Travion. Let me get Rashee Rice. I like that. I like those 2 names. Let me get a Buka. I like that name as well right here. Now let's go look at the 106. So we mentioned Mendoza at the 105. Let's just pretend that happens. Now we start looking at 2025 106. It's going to be a guy like Denzel Boston for me personally. That's who I have currently projected there at the 106 spot. Now he's a big body receiver, 6'4", 209 pounds. Plays 80% of the time out wide. So he's a big wide receiver. And with that comes slowness. He's pretty slow. Not really what you want to hear either, but he's a physical route runner, hard to tackle, good sideline body control, decent against zone coverage. Back-to-back years of 850 receiving yards on average, 2 straight years, 10 touchdowns on average, back-to-back years. I'm not super excited. I'm not thrilled. So would I rather have Denzel Boston or would I rather have Brian Thomas Jr., who averaged 17 points per game as rookie of the year? Now, obviously, ignore 2025, but that never happened. When it did happen, you have Travis Hunter, you have Parker the Pest Washington, you have Jacoby Myers. 2025, you can't ignore it, and the injuries, you can't ignore it. But I'd rather have BTJ. I'd rather have I'm saying it. I don't want to do it. Honestly, if you have a 107 or really the 108, if you can trade the 108 or later for BTJ, and people are commenting down below saying they're getting that deal done, you're amazing. I like him as a trade target, but 106 is really like pushing the price for me because Boston is a reroll. You can maybe get other value like Breece Hall is a good name. I like Warren because Kenyon Sadiq is another name. I have him at the 108. I think Sadiq, I mean, I'd rather have Tyler Warren over Sadiq any day of the week. Kyron Williams, honestly, the 106, I think the 107 and the 108. Like when you're looking at the 107, 108, Jonah Coleman and Kenyon Sadiq. And after the 108, that's where the big value clip was. Let me just break down what I have, right? I have Jonah Coleman at the 107. Good pass pro running back, good receiving running back. He's not great build, and I'm scared of him. He's slow. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, solid. Him and Stowers will probably be the tight ends going early on in this year's actual draft. Yeah, I'll put him at the top 8 because people are going to want the positional advantage of time premium. Now, after that, big value dip. Jadarian Price. He's a scrub running back, efficient running back. He was behind Jeremiah Love. He's good, but he's 8 total catches through 3 years. Nope. You got Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M. Upside. How much upside? Not great. It feels like a round 2 pick, and it's going at the end of the first round. Elijah Surratt. I have him at the 111. This guy is big, but he's the slowest guy in the world. So that's not great either. Chris Brazell II, Ty Simpson, Emmett Johnson, scrubs. So the back half of round 1 is really just scrubs. So who do you want to target? Who are the best trade targets with any of these picks, really, right? I like Kyron Williams. I like Quinshon Judkins a lot. They are both currently undervalued. Judkins performed very well with a bad O-line, a bad Browns offense, and no training camp. Now, obviously, he's got some adversity with the injury. But bring it on, man. Bring it on. This Browns team, you got Shador, you got Fannin, you got Judkins. Those would be the 3 bright spots that they're going to rebuild around. And then Kyron Williams, he's always been someone that's been constantly slept on, but his production has actually been pretty solid. He averages 16-plus points per game. Blake Corum, Jarquez Hunter, everyone likes hyping them up. They're nobodies. MHJ, like, would I rather have MHJ or Jadarian Price or Jonah Coleman or Denzel Boston? There's a world where I think I'd rather have MHJ than the 106 because MHJ versus Denzel Boston, like, Denzel Boston to me, you can't like really define his ceiling like as a college player, but like I'm feeling more like DK Metcalf vibes from Denzel Boston. Whereas MHJ, I mean, he's trash. Like, he is trash. He's unhealthy, and he's injured in 2025 and all that stuff. And the quarterback situation sucks, but this guy's, compare his athletic and collegiate profile, you at some point, you can't keep saying the breakout's going to come, but I still think the breakout is going to come. He's only 23 years old. So MHJ is a good trade target for me. One of my favorites here. You know, we talked about Jonah Coleman at the 107. So you're getting Jonah Coleman, where he'll be a round 2, round 3 running back. And nothing is guaranteed with him. He might not even be the starter. Woody Marks, round 3 guy, not even the starter. Well, he was the starter, but he sucked. So the 107 pick right here, or Chase Brown. It's not even close, Chase Brown. It's not even close at all. Looking at Chase Brown, look at the back half of the year. The first half of the year, you got Burrow hurt, whatever. Listen, with Burrow, without Burrow, it doesn't matter. He started off slow, but he came on quick. Touchdown rate, it was there. On the ground, through the air. Targets per game. 6-7 targets per game, man. He's involved. Rushing, he's getting all the carries. Nobody else is there. Taj Brooks, who's that? He averaged 20-plus points per game in the second half of the year. And he looks like he's going to be the Bengals lead back again. What's that? Word on the street, contract extension is coming. His value will only go up. Now, we're also looking at Harold Fannin Jr. If we're looking at Kenyon Sadiq at the 107, 108, why go for Kenyon Sadiq, who, again, unknown, whereas Fannin, insane collegiate profile. The only concern with Fannin coming out was he did it against poor competition at Bowling Green. He just did it in the NFL with the Browns, with Joe Flacco, Shador Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel, and he produced with all 3 quarterbacks. If you look at his actual game logs, he did average 11 points per game, pretty much with every single one of the 3 different quarterbacks. He's quarterback proof, and he looked good, man. He was efficient, and he really is the only Browns receiver that was making a good lasting impact. So he'll be out there running a lot of routes. And they put him out there running a lot of routes, specifically, purposely, because he is kind of, he's honestly, you can think of him as a fourth wide receiver out there for Cleveland at times, especially with Njoku in 2 tight end sets. So I like trading the 107 or later for Fannin. Now let's keep scrolling down. Would I rather have Javonte or Jonah Coleman? That one's truly tough. I think I'd rather have Javonte if he comes back to Dallas. So that is a bit of a riskier pick swap right there. You know, some more of these names that I do like. I'm not really targeting Michael Wilson or Addison too much. The quarterback situations do scare me. Tucker Kraft for a late first, that does seem like a good value for me as well. You know, he had the injury, but he was looking pretty good before the injury. But pump the brakes, people overvalued him because he was very good before the injury based on one important thing. And that one important thing was touchdowns. His touchdown rate was very, very high, which is good, but his targets were very, very low. And that's just how Tucker Kraft has always been. He was just getting a lot more ops in the red zone. Now, again, my favorite guy to trade for is Tyler Shuck. When you're thinking second round picks, package your second, your third, your fourth. I don't care what you have to do. If you have to send your whole arsenal, which don't do that actually, just go test it. Send a second, third, and a fourth for Shuck. And that's a deal that you should, I 100% encourage you doing. And if it's an early second, you can probably just get away with sending a second and a third. But I like doing that deal for Tyler Shuck, just straight up, man. This guy is going to be a go. I'm calling my shot. Now, Sam Laporta. Would I rather have Sam Laporta or the 110? To be honest, I'd rather have Sam Laporta. Pitts, I'd rather have Pitts than the 110. You know, there's guys down here. Gatson, I'd rather have Gatson, I think, than the 111, than the 112. So there's guys down here that you can be trading your late first for as well. Sam Laporta, he's averaged 10 points per game every single year of his career. Undervalued currently because of the injury in 2025, but he'll be back. He'll be important in this offense. Now, second round picks, we already went through the fact that second round picks are not going to be very, very valuable in a weaker class right here in 2026. Who am I trading for? To be honest, people are catching on to the fact that these second round picks are worthless, and we actually might see an increase in value come closer to draft time, just because people are going to get more hype. They're going to think that these second round picks are actually worth more than they are. But right now, people are kind of already aware that it's a bit of a scam. Now, you're going to have to try getting more value than what you're seeing here. You're going to have to try trading up. I'm just going to throw some names out there, and you can throw out some feelers for any of your second round picks because they're all the same. Obviously, earlier or better, you're going to have a higher hit rate, like Surratt. I could see Surratt going round 2. Omar Cooper, Eli Stowers could actually be someone that returns value in round 2. Emmett Johnson, I like. Ty Simpson, maybe. I like Chris Bell, actually, as a round 2 selection in drafts. Beyond that, not much. Nothing great. I like Higgins. Higgins is a guy. Gatson is a guy. Who else we got here we can trade our second round picks for? Like, Joe Mixon's coming back. That scares me. Alec Pierce, the whole contract thing scares me there. And Indiana Jones, that definitely scares me. JJ McCarthy, like a third round pick for McCarthy. You're not going to be able to trade a third round, but like a second round pick for McCarthy, I don't mind it just because of his age. He's 23. He sucks. He sucks. I'll tell you that right now. He sucks. But a second round pick for JJ McCarthy when he was going early round 1 coming out of the rookie draft, it's actually not terrible, to be completely honest. Just keep in mind, it's a risky shot. A late second, very late, or an early third for Malik Willis. I like sending a third round pick for Malik Willis. That makes sense to me. I like sending a late third for Romeo Doubs. If he leaves Green Bay, he could get some alpha level targets on a worse team if he goes to the Titans, which he won't because they have younger guys like DK and Iam Honor who actually look decent, to be honest. I like Theo Johnson a lot. I like Gunnar Helm a lot. I like Terrence Ferguson if Matthew Stafford somehow is immortal and doesn't retire within the next couple of seasons. I really like Isaac Tesla. If you can go trade a third, fourth, fifth for Tesla, I highly encourage it. Braylon Allen is interesting. Fields is interesting to me. Anthony Richardson is interesting to me. Those are some of the names of these later round guys that you can trade potentially your third, fourth round picks to get some value. I hope this video helped you. Let me know below if you've got any comments, specific trade questions for the picks you're holding. See you boys in the next one.